Oh, she loved it. On her birthday, Charlotte's many TV friends met her family during a local This Is Your Life. Her sister Vivian was a frequent guest on Charlotte's show. Frank Eschen was the host in the Ralph Edwards role. Frank was a popular radio newsman and became St. Louis TV's first news anchor. Charlotte's two children, Pat and Mike, were there for the surprise with Pat's husband, Herb Schwartz, carrying their first grandchild. And here he comes, little Joe Schwartz. And was she ever on cloud nine that day? Charlotte's husband, William Peters, or Willie as Charlotte called him, was her advisor, confidant, best friend. They were married 39 years. Willie was the silent strength behind Charlotte. And Monsignor O'Toole, from Mary Queen of Peace in Webster Groves, was a great friend of Charlotte's. John Rodell was the original host of To the Ladies and had a long career as a newsman in KSD Radio and news anchor and special events MC on KSD TV and later KSD KTV. There's George Abel, announcer, straight man, and dry gulch to the kids. Jerry Berger presents Charlotte with her first Oscar.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Missouri-Illinois theater owners, it gives me a great deal of pleasure to announce the recipient of the Oscar from Eddie Clark, President, and Charles Goldman, Treasurer, for her most outstanding contributions to the promotion of the motion picture industry, Miss Charlotte Peters of KSD TV.
I've done so many takeoffs of movie stars, Oscar winners, and TV star Oscar winners that this is really a takeoff of a takeoff, if you know what I mean, Jerry.
Hallelujah, 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 trail. Don't know where we're going or where we've been. Hallelujah, trail. It's written in the dust and blown by the wind. Hallelujah, trail. Hallelujah, 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 trail. You can't tell a horse from a stubborn mule. Hallelujah, trail. You can't tell a hero from a doggone fool. Hallelujah, trail. Hallelujah, 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 trail. Love that woman and she loved you. Hallelujah, trail. Just do unto her what she wants you to. Hallelujah, trail. There's no such thing as a perfect man. Hallelujah, trail. Your girl's gotta do the best you can. Hallelujah, trail. Hi! Hallelujah, 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 trail. Oh! Hallelujah, hey! Hallelujah, 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 trail. The girl's so sweet as sugar candy. Hallelujah, trail. Look out, boys, their lips are dandy. Hallelujah, trail. Hallelujah, 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 trail. Early in the morning, almost day. Hallelujah, trail. Rise and shine, we're on our way. Hallelujah, trail. Hallelujah, 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 trail. Hallelujah, 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 trail. Ha! Ha! Move it wait until I try my... Wait till I try... You want to see an audience move? What's this? Ha! Listen, I'm gonna put a cigarette in your mouth. Now
You are about to meet one of the greatest stars of staged screens and television, the one and only Mr. Alfred Hitchcock. Do you know, in 22 years I've been in television in St. Louis locally. 5 days a week, an hour every day. I've never flew from St. Louis to Chicago to interview, just for an interview, and then to fly back. But you are one of the greatest men
Well,
in
that's
show
very
business I've
nice.
ever met.
Wonderful.
Forgive me, I'm a gusher, but I'm a sincere gusher.
Good.
I must tell you, before we get into talking about Topaz,
When you say you're a gusher, is that something to do with oil?
it could be. I go just about as deep as they all go.
Then all I can say to you is, oil's well that ends well.
If I ever make a picture, you've got to, you end up the picture just like this. But first, let's talk about Topaz. Now, this is your 51st motion picture.
That is right.
You are in practically every picture that you make.
Yes.
Some little part.
Little tiny parts.
When did that start?
About 1926.
Well, what gave you the idea?
We ran short of actors, and I was very hesitant to do it because of the indignity of having to be an actor anyway.
Well, it looks like we're running short of actors today. Now, I understand that you've only got one of the big-name stars, Mr. John Forsythe, in it, and the
That's
rest
right.
of them are stars that we haven't heard too much.
No, that's true, because you see, they're all in foreign countries. You see, the opening of the picture is in Copenhagen, Denmark, where a Russian defector and his wife and daughter are picked up by the Americans and brought to America. That's the opening scene of the picture. Well, you couldn't have familiar faces in a scene like that. They had to be unknowns.
Well, it's a brand new concept. Yeah, they always did for all of these years, but I'll go
Yeah,
with
but then
your way.
why do you go to the trouble of getting authentic scenery, authentic backgrounds, and spoil it all by putting a familiar face in it?
Beautiful thinking. Now, this story is about the espionage
During the missile crisis.
during the missile crisis down in Cuba.
That's right.
Did they ever let you get down to Cuba at all?
No, but I sent my own spy down there.
Oh, you could.
Yes, I did. I sent an English photographer. I had sent an American, but he got cold feet. He got as far as Mexico City and couldn't get an exit permit. So I got a British photographer to go in who works out of New York. And he got me all the authentic details I needed
The
from
pictures.
Cuba.
The pictures of
Yeah.
Cuba, so that you could make a duplication of them
That's
someplace
right.
in America to
That's
shoot
right,
the film?
the nearest place, you know. And also we have in the film a Castro rally. And in this rally where Castro speaks, you can see our own characters from the movie on the same platform as Castro. And in the crowd, our leading man in the story.
Oh, this is beautiful. How close did you stick with the missile crisis that happened in '62?
We stuck to all the stuff in the book, you know, which was the story of the Frenchman who
yes.
helped the Americans and went into Cuba where he had a mistress. The mistress gets killed eventually. She's a member of the underground,
Yes.
Cuban woman.
Did you get any shots of the Soviet embassy?
Yes, sir. We drove by the Soviet embassy several times. It was a house about 50 feet back from the road and had sort of a chain link fence gate. And we were going to have our people just walk out of the gate, you see. And the Danish police said, we'd rather you not, because we've had a lot of trouble since Czechoslovakia. So we got the local firm to make us a pair of gates to match those of the Soviet embassy. And they had made the ones for the Soviet embassy. So we just said, give us a copy of the same gates. And we took those back to Hollywood, and on the back lot, we constructed with foliage and everything, exactly the same embassy. And you cannot tell the difference. In fact, there's one touch that we have in the opening of the film. Beside the front door of the Soviet embassy is a small window, and sticking out of the window is a large rear view mirror. There's a face in it all the time.
Oh, that is
And I'll
beautiful.
bet you the people say, well, that's a bit far-fetched, that's stuck in, you know, by Hitchcock, you know. But it's absolutely true. In fact, what I did was to have some photographs taken of the set, and I sent them to the chief of the Danish police. I said, when the film comes to Copenhagen, you may get complaints from the Russian embassy, and these photographs will enable you to show them that it wasn't taken anywhere near their embassy.
If you ever get a chance to please come down to St. Louis,
Oh, yes.
I promise you, I'll turn this city out for you. Not only that, every one of your movies, and please write some more television scripts, will you?
I'll tell you what, we'll meet at a certain spot in St. Louis, and I'll give you an arch look.
Okay. Mr. Alfred Hitchcock.
Charlotte Peters' pride and joy were her kids, Patricia and Michael, Pat and Mike. Mike used to stop by my office very often on the mezzanine floor of the old Post-Dispatch building here in St. Louis. And he'd stop by and say, Uncle Cliff, can I use a drawing board for a while? Because I always had a drawing board, and I was doing cartoons for the weather or something else. And he'd stop by and he'd do the cartooning himself. Well, Mike Peters grew up to be one of the finest cartoonists in the country. A Pulitzer Prize for political cartooning a few years ago, and you may recall that if you read the funny papers at all, Mother Goose and Grimm is one of his products. Thought you'd like to meet Mike right now.
Two of my favorite stories about my mom are, one, this one weekend, she and my dad and I were going to go up to Chicago. And she was so looking forward to go up there by train. And we were going to take a bubble top. And she's been talking about this bubble top that she saw about a month ago, and she really wanted to take it. And so it was a Friday, and she called up the Missouri Pacific people and said, this is Charlotte Peters, and I'm going up to Chicago, and are you going to have the bubble top on? And they said, no, Miss Peters, I'm afraid not. And that usually, we only put that on Thursdays. And so she said, oh, that's a shame, I was really looking forward to it. So we get down to the Union Station, and sure enough, there was a bubble top on the train. Oh, and she said, oh, they made a mistake. Oh, this is great, She said, Will, let's get up in the bubble and get on in the front seat so we can get there before anybody else. So we ran up there and got on the top seat of the bubble, and we're sitting there. Train takes off, and oh, God, it's wonderful. And we're looking at Springfield and waving at people. And finally, the waiter came for drinks, and we had these little sandwiches that we had packed. And Mom said, I'm so excited that you guys have the bubble top on today. And he says, yeah, they had to put it on because some bigwig is coming. And so she kept looking around, waiting all the rest of the trip for that bigwig to get on the train. That was her, and she never knew it. My second favorite story is this one time she was going to have all of us kids, Patton and me, and then all of Uncle Harry's, that's her brother-in-law, my father's brother, all of his kids go to Forest Park Highlands, which was like the Disney World of St. Louis during the 50s. Except though it was different from Disney World because you didn't pay money to get in. You paid money for every ride, so it cost you a little bit. The more rides you went on, the more expensive it was. So she called up the people who ran Forest Park Highlands, and she said, this is Charlotte Peters from KSD, and I'm coming there tonight, and I'm bringing all these orphan kids. And she said, I wanted to find out if you could possibly give me some free tickets so I could pay for these orphan kids to come. Well, they said, oh, sure, Miss Peters, that's wonderful, and we'll be happy to. And then she had all of us kids dress up in old clothes. I wore my dad's pants so they didn't fit me. I had, she put rips in our shirt. It was awful. I mean, it was unbridled awful, And so she had all of us kids, and she swore to us. She said, now, don't ever call me Mom or Aunt Charlotte. Always call me Mrs. Peters. So she got a roll of tickets like this, and when we got there, she gave it to us, and we all said, thank you, Mrs. Peters, and then we all took off, and we didn't see her all night long, and finally got back around 11 o'clock. So thank you, Mom, and thank you, Mrs. Peters.